Hello, welcome to my channel. Time for my August Fanfiction Reads wrap-up. So, this first fanfiction I'm working on is titled The Muggle Death Eater and His Daughter, authored by Grit78. It's a 53-chapter story that took me 6 days to complete. I found this fic as a recommendation, I believe on Instagram. So before diving into this, I've got to warn you that this story is totally AU. Still in the wizarding world, but totally distorted the whole HP series. I'd say it's more of a parody, a funny one. So with that disclaimer, this story starts with Dramione being friends since their first year, just for the reason that Lucius Malfoy thought Hermione's father is a special secret agent of Voldemort who has a higher ranking than normal Death Eaters. Reason being, he'd mistaken the international medical emblem that has snakes in it to be more superior. And that's the first AI generated pic I did for the fic. Seriously, Hermione's father, Richard Granger, is such a dad. All his dad jokes, a jokester that only the leftover marauders could appreciate. But one thing is for sure, he is a hell of a brave man to play along with Voldemort. As for Lucius Malfoy, oh, he's such a naive pureblood that knows nothing about muggles. He kept interpreting every muggle thing as sinister meanings. So cynical and suspicious, not to mention the many coincidences. Honestly, I went in thinking it would be a thorough Dramione fanfiction, but it ended up more about Dramioni's parents. Hell, there were even shagging scenes for them. But let alone them, even Peter Pettigrew getting himself off. Yuck. Really, it's not a serious fic. More like a movie so silly that it's entertaining. Has lots of 90s references though, that I believe most of us millennials could get. Moving to Voldemort, I thought he trusted his Death Eaters a bit too easily. I mean, no usage of legilimency at all. Richard would have been plucked out in an instant for his impersonation. But the part where Voldemort got stealthily attacked by Richard by making him lips made me chuckle non-stop. Quite in line with his pronunciation of Avada Kedavra. What's with his precious McDonald's straw and all? With regards to Dramione themselves, well, what can I say? Their romance bloomed steadily, but like I said, the distraction of both their parents being friends with each other sort of made them sidetracked. I'm giving this fic just 2 stars. Yeah. And to be rudely honest, I felt like DNFing the story throughout reading the whole fic. But I stood my ground to finish the fic devotedly. The last few chapters I felt really dragged. Sure, there were the usual comedic reliefs, but they were just that. The epilogues too, I basically swept through. They were rather redundant, but act as brief preludes and sequels to what happened to certain characters. So I guess that's one fanfiction down. Read it if you want some AU hilarious cracks, but don't if you want some serious logical plot. Moving on to the next fic I'm reviewing here. It's a 30-chapter fic titled Lumos and Lattes, written by Magical Molly. Yeah, took me 3 days to finish it. Through those tech fics on AO3, I had wondered if I was diving into a truly magical soulmate trope fic or somewhat, or at least just for the general meaning of it. I mean, what's with Draco Malfoy always tracing rune symbols behind Hermione's back whenever they're together intimately? To summarize, this whole fanfiction I felt was like watching a good old rom-com, Harry Potter, Dramione style. AI pics made for this fic. By the way, yes, I indicate the index number of the fanfiction that's associated with my reading log. And yes, I'll be awarding this fic 3 stars. Draco really started off being a persistent man, albeit pathetically. Poor bloke no longer had any shame begging a muggle born. But I couldn't blame the lad initially, being exiled, homeless and all that. But having a Muggle born made it easier for Draco to learn and blend into the Muggle world. Hermione Granger, on the other hand, I felt was rather OOC. I mean, I know there are many arguments in the world that a war can change a person, but the whole change in Hermione, albeit not loud, neon light kind of change, it was still obvious. I don't know, the Hermione Granger in this fic was rather too out of character for me. Being a barista, a baker, and that whole sensual change of style. I don't know, but I tagged along and went on with the story. The OC Carly, the college girl, she's not so bad. But to be honest, in the end, I felt her existence in the story was rather extrinsic. And seriously, like in many Dramione fanfictions, the main female OC always hooks up with Theodore Nott. Also, Dudley. Oh, I love him in this. He's matured and very lovely in his own way. Although I think many readers of the fic would wonder, where were his parents? No mention at all, like what happened to them? I was admittedly disappointed with Harry that he didn't even bother asking about both his aunt and uncle. I mean, despite everything, they are still his relatives, his family. Oh, and Blaze. I really liked his character though. Honestly, he's about the most canon of all the characters in the fic. Very stoic and intense. But what caught me off guard was Ron. Sure, I didn't like his character in the fic from the beginning. He stayed true to being stupid. But I was truly surprised that it was him who led the hate group, the so-called vigilantes. I had initially betted on Neville Longbottom. Well, I guess that's it for this fic. It's a pretty good read. Pretty lemony too. For the other fanfictions that I reviewed and didn't give any two-page spreads, I review them like this. Yep, I love rating fanfictions. It's what this whole journal is for. Reviewing. So if you're one of those fanfiction gatekeepers, I really don't know what you're still doing here despite the last 14 minutes. Seriously, people shouldn't stop doing what they want onto a notebook or sketchbook. It's something you purchased or got. Do anything you want with the book. It's yours. Don't let what some negative people tell you what a journal should actually be stop you from doing what you want. You're nobody to be controlled. So anyways, yeah, more AI generated pictures. I love these pictures. Made them via various AI tools available on the internet, with the help of Photoshop for some. And no matter what, I'll keep using the actors' faces for the respective characters. Not just Tom and Emma for Dramione, but Daniel, Rupert, and even Gary Oldman. For characters we've not seen in the movies like Theonaught, I've now used the most popular fancast actor. By the way, yes, those green dots are for the index numbers. Oh, I randomly taped the middle spines of this journal to prevent it from breaking apart from the eventual bulk later. First fic there, that's my monthly Dramione rack for today, titled All Will Be Well, authored by Hero, a short one-shot through Narcissa Malfoy's POV after the final battle at Hogwarts. Really enjoyed the subtle yet to the point story of it. And here's my reading log. I will be coloring those fics that I reviewed earlier, just in random greens of my palette. That's my favorite quote of the month, from the fic titled Draco and Hermione Celebrate Carnival, written by Miles Maggie. Here's an unpulled photo sticker. I'll be using this washi tape. To make like a flat window, just for a simple interactivity. I'll be using pie charts for my monthly statistics, be using this app called Tracetable. Basically using my cell phone as a light box. Start tracing up the sections. Listing down the tropes for this chart. And start coloring. Outlining the lines a bit. And it's time for a flip through. Less than half a page of DNFs. Not bad. another 3 full page of fanfiction reads. Confessedly, mostly just one chapter. Yeah, I've maximized my 2-page spread reviews to only 2 long fics, lest my video will last more than an hour. So, I guess that's it for this month's reads. I thank you guys for watching up till here. Till then, happy reading and bye!